Disclaimer: the following video can contain spoilers.
Taken from her homeland as a child, Furiosa, Anna Taylor-Joy, would grow this hatred towards Dementis, Chris Hemsworth, a scoundrel whose only goal in the wasteland is to please himself. Over the course of his plan, Dementis would hand over Furiosa to Immortan Joe, Lachi Homie, apologies if I butchered that, where she'd continue her venture for vengeance. I've said this exact thing in other reviews, but in short, good movie, not much of a worthy prequel/sequel. In this case, a prequel to Mad Max, Fury Road. Furiosa as a standalone movie, pretty good. Sure, it has some flaws here and there, but not good when it comes to it being a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road. At least in terms of Furiosa's character arc/growth. After rewatching it, I can say that there's two reasons why I couldn't fully get behind this movie. One, the consistent time jumps that cut through Furiosa's character development. And two, Furiosa's actual character development and how it's supposed to connect to Mad Max Fury Road. Let's begin. From the opening, we're shown just how skillful Furiosa is. However, if there is no basis, no indication of prior knowledge to her understanding and skill set, it fails to provide the adequate audience response. Not even if you explain it later, which the movie failed to do. If we started inside the Land of Abundance, for example, to see how Furiosa lives her life in this place, how she'd come to gain all these skill sets and survival techniques, I'd argue that her actions once captured would have been better. Not only would it establish her knowledge, strength, determination, etc., we would have gotten to see her character and how she feels about the world. Something that's very crucial in understanding her character and having us, the audience, care and root for her. And no, just because her character was established in Mad Max Fury Road, can they skip this aspect in a movie? That's wrong. So don't do that in your story. If you're writing a prequel, we need to see how she became the character we saw in the movie/story that would follow it, while altogether having its own arc/development. To further my point, any scenes that could have involved character growth were simply cut. In the form of time jumps, we skip through valuable moments in Furiosa's life that could have added any form of character development. Let me explain. In Mad Max Fury Road, Furiosa risked her life in order to get Immortan Joe's wives a better life outside the capital. She did that by using the war rig. So from this notion, we get her sense of character. She has rage, but at the same time, she also has compassion and love for these women that she would risk her life for them. In Furiosa, I would have thought that we would see how she would develop this rage and caring side to her. The movie does get her rage right, but had no indication or scenes that showed her caring side. And I would not count her short and arguably love life with Praetorian Jack, Tom Burke. I would have thought that she would develop this caring side once she was put with the wives. But unfortunately, that is the first time jump we get in the movie. Here, I thought she'd spend a lot more time with the wives, understanding their role in the capital, eventually seeing their struggle, growing compassion for them. Whether or not they include some scenes that also demonstrate how compressed their anger is towards Immortan Joe, in order to please him, is a separate story. However, instead of showing us this side to Furiosa, that will be a huge part in Mad Max Fury Road, there's a time jump. A time jump that I personally did not like, because it left me asking, what happened after her escape? Did they not look for her? Did they not care? Could they have thought Dementis had anything to do with it, given just how recent the exchange/deal was? It was just aggravating that instead of offering scenes that could have involved character development, the movie skips over it with a time jump. This aggravated me because her time with the wives wasn't sufficient for her to inevitably grow sympathy for them and help them and want to help them. Her time in between the time jump could have also been crucial to her character growth and how she learns to adapt to her environment, how she outsmarts the capital and hides in plain sight, etc., etc. Except we don't see that and just have to accept that Furiosa managed to overcome those obstacles off screen. While the movie does give weight and justification to some of Furiosa's knowledge and understanding of how certain things work, like the war rig for this scene, as she is the one that helped build it, I felt the most important justifications were not there. From her humble beginnings and skill set to unseen scenes because of time jumps. Furiosa's character feels like a hollow husk because when she does something, we as the audience just have to accept she's capable of these things. And as a result, there aren't many indication of character growth at all, which ultimately makes me question why some scenes are in the movie at all. Before I end this review, I do have to say that the movie does succeed in its action sequences. These sequences were very enjoyable to see on the big screen. From beginning to end, these action sequences gave the audience thrills and a lot of car action. It's one of the main reasons why people saw the movie to begin with, and to that extent, it succeeded in giving the audience what they wanted. I will also say, although sounding critical of the story, I did like the story. I can see how it ties in with Mad Max. I just wish the movie didn't brush off interesting scenes, while also negating Furiosa's character growth and compassion for the wives. Simply put, the story was good, but it could have been written better. Overall, Furiosa is a movie that, for me, was good in its action, but not very good with its story writing. We understand Furiosa's journey for revenge, but I couldn't pinpoint where her journey for these wives began. And while I did enjoy the movie, I cannot help but wish the writing was better.
But anyways, those are just my thoughts. Did you enjoy the movie? Let me know what you thought about it down below, and I'll see you in the next review. Until then, God bless.